Devil's advocates whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall. One wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's the sinner? Who's the saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
Well, hello out there, everyone. Welcome to another Crimes After Dark with Devil's Advocates. And of course, we're a little light on a crew tonight, but that's okay. We've still got an excellent show planned for you guys, so I hope everybody's doing well tonight. I just want to take a gander and see who all is here with us tonight. Let's see. It looks like we have Sleuther with us over on Dago's side there. And you guys, it's like we're all one now. Do you feel the oneness? So, Essie's over here making fun of me. Just do your modding and, you know. Oh my goodness. So it looks like we got Jenny with us. Jenny. Uh, that's a little inside joke there. We have Grace Kirk with us tonight. We got Becca. We backstage we have one the King of the Clips, and of course we have Sir Dego from the True Crime Cafe with us tonight. Unfortunately, Logan isn't able to be here tonight, but most likely she will be back with us tomorrow night. And of course, right now, JJ still has some Sunday gigs, but he is expecting to be back probably like the second week in April. I almost said August and had a time warp, but no, April. So April comes before that. So we gotta, we don't have a time warp machine or anything like that. So, and I see the lovely Amanda B is with us, and of course Essie. She is with us as well. Our fantastic mods and all the mods over on Dago's side. Thank you for what you do as well. And we got that's Motley with us, and looks like Dale Harrison. My God, I love seeing all these names. I love seeing you guys night after night. It's rare that I don't see you. So, but all right. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Dago to the stage with us. Hello,
Hello
sir.
and good evening. Whoa. Come on.
Yeah, don't forget that. You can't forget that. You'll get in trouble.
I gotta do my whoa. Good to see you guys.
Whoa.
And forget about it, of course.
Yep, that's
So
right.
I hope you guys
Yep.
are having a great Sunday evening. I hope you had a great Sunday and a great weekend. It's great to be back here for this part 2 of the John Bonet Ramsey series that we're running and looking into what really happened in our opinion. So hopefully it's interesting to you guys. For those of you that are here, we appreciate you all very much. Thank you to the amazing moderators for joining us as always. Again, we would not exist without you guys. Thank you for that. Thank you, Blue Eyed, for that statement as well. I'm glad you enjoyed that show this afternoon. It is great to see you all here with us. I'm excited to jump into part 2 of this. I can't wait. So,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, did you do a live earlier today? Did you?
I did. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was just it was an open discussion. Dylan joined me. He likes to join me often, and we broke down.
He's cool.
Yeah, Dylan's a good kid. He calls me dad. He knows it gets to me because he likes to make fun of my age. Is what he does. It's because he is
Oh,
the age of my kid. So, um, but yeah, we did a pretty interesting show. It was exciting. A lot of people were into it. We started discussing the Bill 1250 that Olivia Gonsalves had pushed.
yeah.
Okay, and I went and I referred to some old interviews with them along with the newest interview with Steve and Olivia that was just put out 2 days
Mhm.
ago based on this bill. We went through that interview, and then I took them back into January of 23 and a couple interviews from last year, and I said, "Do you guys see the differences?" We discussed those things, broke it down, of course, talked like we always do about theories and stuff like that, and it just was a great show, it turned out. And yes, I shaved. Somebody asked me earlier. I shaved my mustache off and did a whole different thing here for a little while to see what
Oh my
happened.
gosh, you did. Oh
So
my gosh, I didn't notice that earlier.
somebody asked me
You look
earlier.
great.
I got an email about that. "Did you shave your mustache?" in an email. I was like, Yeah, I did. Thank you for the email." I tried different things from here and there, just to see what be a little different. So you
Right.
guys want to put the same old ugly face every
Sure.
time. So
No, you look great. That's awesome.
thank you.
Yeah, very good.
It is great to be here, see you all, and I can't wait. So
Yeah. So, all
Amanda,
right, without further ado here, I will go ahead and bring up One. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm doing well.
Oh no. Here we go.
I have to get that app on my computer. Of course, I don't know with a laptop, like without like an external mic. I don't know how well it would sound. Really, I don't know.
well, you can actually get. You don't have to have a board per se. There's like programs you can upload, and you can just use the program too. I think that's what he does.
Yeah, but I just use the mic on my laptop, so I don't know if it would have as good a quality as if I had an external mic.
Well, I know that's a good point. I know when you have a laptop, because
Yeah.
when I started, that's what I used. But when you have you're able to get this close to the mic.
It
Right.
definitely changes how things sound as compared to being away from it, you know. Now, it's a thing.
It is what it is. I'm
Oh my
going
gosh,
anyway.
that's so much fun.
Deep, deep, deep.
Yeah, you can get as high and as deep as you want. And I have something
No.
else on here.
Weird, weird knobs.
Weird knobs. It's
These
bad when
knobs
you have weird knobs.
This, 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 this is strange. This one, I can't even fix
it now. There we go.
There you go.
I have multiple tuning knobs that can make me sound like a very strange, like to me this hold on. This to me sounds like a woman.
Okay, here we go. It's very strange. I don't know how to explain it, but it's odd. Very odd. And it reminds me of a
What do you
woman. I
sound
don't
like?
know. What's that?
There's actually an actress that sounds like.
Yeah, somebody else told me that too.
Yeah.
I
Wow,
don't
that's
know.
weird.
It is
Yeah,
strange.
I don't know.
It's fun. You can play around with it. Also, female
Good
alien.
Yeah.
That's what I got too, Gail, because it's got that little like electronic sound to it. So.
Yeah, female
Yeah.
alien. I could see that. Yeah. Yep.
So be it. Gotta
So
love it. Something to do.
what's this?
Toys will be
Feeling like
toys.
a whole lot of women?
Lots and lots of toys.
Yeah. There you go.
Definitely. Gypsy Rose.
Oh my God,
Gypsy
Gypsy
Rose.
Rose. You are. I think you're right. Hold on, Jess. Wait a minute.
Gypsy Rose. Hello? Yoo-hoo. Maybe.
I don't
Maybe.
know.
I don't know.
It is strange for sure. Ew.
Yep. But
Hi.
hey, you gotta
How are ya?
have some fun, and it's Sunday night. We're
Wow.
gonna get into a really good case here, and so gotta have a little fun. So plus this helps us kind of come on in, and you know,
Yes.
good for the algorithm and all that stuff. So welcome on in, everyone.
Yes.
Week 2 of the John Benet Ramsey case. So okay, so
Absolutely.
does I
Is that
guess
what we're here for?
we
Yeah. No,
is it? Yes.
it's
Yes,
a
it
sound.
is.
It's a voice sound effect. Yeah, show. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were doing.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I get it. No, you know, but so I guess we want to let's recap with the 911 call. Does somebody have that available, ready?
Wait. Don't forget my intro.
Oh,
yeah.
my God. My God. Yes.
I'm gonna call you Lee Jr.
One. You know what it is?
Yes.
I'm getting out of practice because we haven't had you the past couple nights. That's what the
Yeah.
problem is.
I
So
know.
yes,
gonna say
please,
that.
sir. Please, sir, start us off with your monologue, please.
All
Read us
right.
in.
Is it good to be alive in the den on a Sunday night?
Always.
All right.
Yeah.
Jackson and Juliana, my beautiful wife, love you guys always. Tonight, we're stepping into a case that never really ended. Not in courts, not in the headlines, and certainly not in the hearts of those who followed it for nearly 3 decades. Because some stories don't fade, they linger, they echo, they wait. It was the morning after Christmas, December 26, 1996. A house still wrapped in the glow of the holiday. Gifts opened, lights still twinkling, the quiet aftermath of what should have been a perfect family night. But inside that home in Boulder, something had already gone terribly wrong. A 6-year-old girl, John Benet Ramsey, was gone. And what followed wasn't just a search for a child, it became a search for truth, buried under layers of confusion, suspicion, and unanswered questions. A ransom note written inside the house, a timeline that never quite lined up, a crime scene that raised more questions than answers, and a case that, despite decades of investigation, still lives in that uncomfortable space between what we know and what we can't prove. Because this isn't just a story about what happened, it's about how it happened, it's about who we believed and why. It's about a case that split public opinion between intruder and inside job, between accident and intent, between truth and the narratives we build when the truth feels just out of reach. And maybe that's what makes this case different. Because from the very beginning, this wasn't just an investigation, it became a spectacle, a media storm, a courtroom without walls, where the public became the jury, and every detail was dissected, debated, and reimagined. And beneath that noise, there was a child, a real little girl with a voice that should have grown louder with time, not silenced in a single night, a life that should have stretched far beyond 6 years, but instead became frozen in photographs, headlines, and questions that refused to rest. Because here on Devil's Advocates, we don't just tell stories, we challenge them. We question the narrative. We sit in the uncomfortable space between certainty and doubt, between what's accepted and what's overlooked. Tonight, we're not here to exploit, we're not here to sensationalize, and we're definitely not here to pretend we have all the answers because we don't. No one does. But what we do have is the willingness to ask the hard questions, to look at the details others ignore, to revisit moments that still don't make sense, and to give a voice to the truth that may still be waiting to be found. So, as we step into this case, we ask you to do something simple, but not easy. Set aside the headlines, set aside the assumptions, and walk with us back into that house on that cold December morning where a story began that still hasn't found its ending. Because somewhere between the facts, the theories, and the silence, there's still a truth waiting to be heard. This is Devil's Advocates. And with that, live from New York, it's Sunday night.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Good
As
stuff.
always, that was great. A couple people were asking if you write those yourself, and I said, why, yes, he does. So, yeah, love how you always tailor them to whatever we're talking
I
about.
try.
So,
I try. It's not always easy to have something new every night. I try my best.
well, you do a great job, sir. You do a great
Yes,
job.
thank you.
So,
Who is
yeah,
that?
yeah.
All right, so we got
Well-
who is what?
I get these
Everything all
strangest
right?
email. No, yeah, I
Oh.
get this strange. I told you earlier when I said that somebody emailed me and said you shaved, and I said I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I just had another one that said you look like. This has been said to me before. It's hilarious. Uncle Cracker now, Dago. The singer Uncle Cracker. I've been told that
Yeah.
I know
before
who you
because of
mean, but
the
no.
hairiness. I guess I don't know. Whatever. Thank you. Thank you. Or whatever you want to call. I appreciate it. I
Right.
guess.
Earlier, SMC Idaho Vandals said they want to make a baby picture out of you now, or a video out of you now doing that voice.
Huh.
Scully did baby pictures with me. So
Eh,
go for it. Go for it. That's all. I love the fun stuff. I do. Really do. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
the fun stuff.
yeah, I do appreciate it. I'm not
Thank you, Dale.
disappearing. I'm still part of the team. I just
Of course.
I might miss a few days here or there. You know, as I said, you know, my I have a new position and new responsibilities and stuff. So I want to make a good impression as
Well,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that has to come first. You're a captain now, man.
Yeah.
That is just
Real life
awesome
is
to me.
always
I
first.
just love that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
getting I'm still getting used to people calling me
Cap.
captain too. It's a little I'm not used to it. It really
Yeah, yeah. You probably look around they're a captain, and you're probably like,
Who are they talking to?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I've been a lieutenant the last 11 years. So it's
right.
Did you get
Right.
your car yet?
I did.
Awesome,
did.
bro.
They
Awesome.
gave me I got it's a 2015 it's like a temporary until I guess whenever I guess they'll give me something somewhat newer or I don't know, but it's a 2015 Chevy Impala.
Okay.
It's black, tinted windows, it
got
has
a-
the
that's
light
got the-
package, all that stuff.
It's got the good motor in it too. I had that
yeah,
car. I had
they
that
all
same car.
great and you know,
You
my
probably got
the
an
big thing
interceptor in
is
it.
yeah, yes it does.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
don't have to you know, I don't have to pay for gas, so it's great.
That's all that matters.
There
right
you go.
bud.
Yeah.
And with the
Yeah.
price of gas just jumping $1 a gallon, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Does it have
So-
the clip-on fog lights? One.
Well,
You gotta know. Amanda's asking.
yeah.
Hey, Tandy. Good to see you. Thank you for jumping in tonight. For all of you guys that are here, I appreciate you very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, good, dude. I'm glad to hear you got that finally, because it's like I said, less wear and tear on your own personal car, and
Right.
gas and all that shit, dude. You don't need that. So good for you. I'm glad to hear
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and my commute is like cut in half, so
Right. That's even
which is a
better. Right.
huge. It's even if I'm in traffic, I'm in traffic for like 15 minutes, and then I'm like, I'm only it's from door to door from my house to my office. It's 14 miles. It's not
That
that
is
much.
sweet.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
you got
So
That's a lot better.
that's an officer car, so the light package on it is probably like up in the windshield, dashboard,
yep,
and the headlights and all
yep,
that. Yeah, that's what I
yep,
thought. Yeah.
Nice.
yep.
Our Chiefs car was like that here at the fire department, and my
Yeah,
vehicle had that package on it too, my personal vehicle to go back and forth, so I get it.
yeah.
That's excellent.
Good to hear,
Did,
bud.
did kids beg you to
Thank you.
run the siren and stuff yet, or
But it's funny. It's funny you said that. To bring the to bring the car back, I had to have two officers had to drive back to my house with me. So I drove my regular car,
Right.
and then
okay?
one of them drove my take home Impala, and then one of them drove the regular police car.
Yeah.
And they got to my house. I I don't know. I mean, I guess they got there. Maybe I drive slow. I have no idea. They got there a little before I did. So my wife was like, she already knew they were coming. My son was like so excited. So when I got to my house, one of the cops he had my son in the front passenger seat, and he went up the block and back a few times with the lights on and everything. My son was
Oh
like
my
in seventh
gosh.
heaven. Yeah, he was like,
Oh
"This
my
is
gosh,
amazing."
that's so
We
cool.
used to the fringe benefits of being a civil servant, we used to be I would come by the house where I lived at because I lived right down the road from my station, and we
Yeah.
would always bring the engine, and my kids loved we had a
Oh
ladder
yeah.
truck. It was
Yep.
it had a tail driver on it, we call it, okay? And we would bring it down the road, and I'd lay on it in front of my house. My neighbors hated it because I had a Federal Q siren in that one. You'd stand on that thing, and it was one of those
Oh
wind up
wow.
like that, and it would get
Yeah,
louder,
yeah,
and we'd hit the lights, and the kids were like, "Yeah!" They'd freak out in the main trailer.
yeah.
The neighbors hated us, but we do it
Oh
all the
yeah,
time
of
for the kids,
course.
so,
Oh
Of
my
course.
gosh. That's so cool.
yeah, you gotta love
Yeah,
it.
good stuff.
Yep. Very nice. Very nice. So,
Sorry, we're talking all
well, I
sorts of stuff
guess we
today.
should. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
oh,
I
we
said
have
we're
a case
talking all
we have a
all
case
over
to
the place.
discuss?
Yeah, we got a case
That's
to
okay. That's okay. We're
Um,
just easing on in. So, but I guess
alright,
yeah, we
so
should get on here, and
yeah,
I guess we want to start with a 911 call. We're going to do a little bit of a recap there because it was a little later
sure.
last week, and some people had already left and that kind of thing. So maybe you guys didn't get to hear it. So, do one of you
Yeah,
guys have that?
Yeah, yeah. Hold on a minute
Okay.
here.
you
Uh,
could put it up,
let me pull
and
it up
then
here real
and then
fast.
we'll talk about it after. And
Yeah.
it's a quick one because the 911 call is really the main part is a minute is like a little over a minute, and then there's some extra stuff after,
Mhm.
which is
Right.
Absolutely. Oh, wait a minute.
So if you have headphones, I would recommend wearing headphones because there are you're going to want to especially pay attention towards the end, like after it seems like Patsy hangs up, or she
yeah,
thinks she does. So you're going to want to pay attention to that because one thing we're trying to discern is whether or not you hear Burke on the call at the very like towards the very end and exactly what we're hearing. So I would encourage you, if you do have headphones, listen to it, or if you're watching it on your TV or whatever, crank up the volume so that you can, you know, really hear when we play it.
Yeah, 1 second here.
and it's good.
So
It's good stuff. I know sometimes some audio stuff can be difficult to discern, but what I
yeah,
can tell you, whether you want to, how do I want to put it? It's definitely what basically has been agreed upon is that it's definitely another male voice, okay? And
Right.
they know that it's not John Ramsey. So if we know that it's not John Ramsey, well, no one else. There was no other male in the house except for Burke, as far as we know. So they're, that's the main
Right.
part of the issue. If we know it's not John Ramsey, we know that they've counted him. So
Yeah.
then, that's the issue. That's the
The
main problem.
right. The other twist to that though is Burke was only 9 at the time. So how deep would his
Yes.
voice have been? He
Not
wouldn't have been
very.
hitting puberty yet.
Right,
Right.
right.
So that
And I,
adds a whole
It's
nother
hard.
wrinkle.
It does.
yeah,
It does.
definite. And I may have to do this in 2 parts, and that's fine if
Okay.
I have to. But here is the
Yeah.
initial full call. The initial call with Patsy, and it is difficult to hear at times. So make sure you have it. I have it blasted for you guys. Make sure you have your earphones if you have them, because it's easier to
Yeah,
understand.
go ahead.
I have it
Yeah.
backstage, Robin, if you want to pull it up.
Okay. Let me. There we go. I'm gonna get rid of this out of our way.
All right, here we go.
Please, what's going on? 5515th Street. What's going on there, ma'am? We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please. Explain to me what's going on, okay?
There's a note left and our daughter's gone.
Note was left and your daughter is
Yes.
gone? How old is your daughter?
6 years old. She's blonde. 6 years old.
How long ago was it?
I don't know. I just found the note. And my daughter's
Does
gone.
it say who took her?
What?
Does it say who took
No,
her?
I don't know. There's a ransom note here.
It's a ransom note?
It says FBTC. Victory. Please.
Okay, what's your name? Are you Pat?
Patsy Ramsey, I'm the mother. Oh my God. Please.
I'm sending an officer over, okay?
Please.
Do you know how long she's been gone?
No, I don't. Please, we just got out and she's right here. Oh my God, please.
Okay,
Please, there's somebody.
I am, honey.
Please.
Take a deep breath for me,
Please,
okay?
hurry.
Patsy.
Please.
What's going on?
5515.
All right, so that was the first part. Yeah, it's not. Hold on, let me get the other part now. I hate that they split that. I don't
Okay.
like that at all.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't like.
that
I don't
whole
like that they split
Pamela
that.
Smith. Yeah, I'm the mother. That's odd to me, that part, but maybe some people do refer to themselves that way. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, what time in the morning was this? It was like
For
5:30?
uh,
Or was it
Now, in
later?
here, the
hold
thing,
on,
the
I can
one,
tell you in a second. I have the exact time. Hold on. While he's doing that.
the one thing I will tell you that Burke did at one point tell the grand jury that was his voice on the call. Is it true?
Oh,
We don't know. But 1 minute here.
well, then maybe it
It's
really was.
Robin, it's 5:52 a.m. exactly.
I thought it was early. Okay, because she
5:52.
said that they just got up.
Yeah.
So
And
So
I
she
asked-
literally read the note.
So we're talking
And,
about
yeah.
Patsy Ramsey.
Yes.
That somebody in the comments here asked, "Who are we talking about?" We're talking about Patsy Ramsey. She called 911 the morning that they discovered that John Bonet was at that point missing, and so that was her on the 911 call. Uh, once it, you know, and at that time though, they had not looked through the rest of the house. As
Right.
far as we're aware.
No.
Now, I have the
no,
second
yeah.
part backstage, and I have something I want to run.
Good.
If you guys are okay with it. After we hear this, I have something I want you to hear after this that an expert has put out. Okay, and I want
Okay.
it basically says, "What did you hear?" So we're gonna run that after this too, and give you guys a little more insight into this, and it'll give you the option to interact with us as well tonight on what you hear. So
Yeah.
All right, so this is the second part. Listen closely because it's quick.
See, I can't hear. I can't hear. So I can't. I don't. I'm trying. I don't hear. I have headphones too. I don't hear that we're not speaking to you, but I do hear.
What did you do?
I do hear. What did you do? And I hear the get off me too.
Yeah.
I hear
Yep,
that.
I hear.
But I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
But I don't hear that we're not speaking to you.
Yeah,
No,
I don't either.
no.
So I'm slowing this
But
down to 0.65 for you guys to hear this at a slower rate. It's not any easier by a point, but it might
Yeah.
for you.
no. So,
Here we
but
go.
yeah, I definitely hear. It looks like several people hear the "get off me," that kind of thing. So, if
And
you're just joining us, it looks like several people are. We're this is episode 2 of our JonBenet Ramsey deep dive, and right now we're listening to the 911 call from Patsy Ramsey. Just so everyone is up to speed with where we are, and then we're going to get into the timeline. But that does sound like a higher voice to me.
it sounds prepubescent, like a prepubescent male. I get it
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
When you listen good, I get it. So this is
So it
yeah,
would fit. Yeah.
yeah, that would fit. And again, like
It
I
would
said,
fit.
it was stated where Burke did tell the grand jury that that was his voice on there. But is that true? We don't know. But this is at 0.065 speed, a little slower. Like I
yeah,
said, to me, it's not any easier. But there you go.
yeah. But no, you can. I like you said, one. I don't hear the "we're speaking to you." What did you
Right.
do? But I do hear that "get off me" and "what did you
What did
do
you do?
after that?"
Yeah.
Yeah. And so keep in mind. Okay.
I
Um,
hear what did you
keep
do
in
and get
mind,
off me.
everyone, this is back before, um, you know,
They could clean this up.
things
Yeah.
are, yeah, the equipment was not as good. And now also we don't heavily get into audio here usually, but
Right.
this is back before people could easily mess with audio. It's not like today where almost anyone can, watch a YouTube video on how to change things and
Mm-hmm.
do it. But back then, it wasn't easily, you couldn't easily mess with audio. So this
So
is the true audio from that 911 call. So,
this next thing, I have a couple things actually. I forgot I had this other one too. I pulled up last week. This next thing has been denoised and it has subtitles to help to hear.
okay.
It denoises it with some of the background noise and it'll give subtitles to give you this is the call, the 911 call. It says the full
Yeah.
call. And I forgot I pulled this last week for you too. So
Okay.
I have a few different versions of these things so that you guys can get an idea and maybe help out with it because at some points it's interesting. So all right,
Mm-hmm.
there's that now, Robin. You can pull that up as well.
Okay.
And here we go. Okay, where's the subtitles? Hold on. Hang on. Here we go. What we heard first.
I don't hear that as well as the 911 call, do you?
Well, here, this is what they're doing now. Watch this. All right, what we hear first
Okay.
is the initial extension of the call. Okay, that's what we hear first. They play that once, and then they go through and play it denoised, and then they run at the very. You have to watch down here at the bottom, Robin. They run
Oh,
what they believe is being said down here at the bottom through this. Okay,
Yeah,
oh, I can't.
it'll pop up here.
it'll
It's the
pop
third
up.
go around. You'll see it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just watch down here, and you'll start to see it pop up. But it's going to run through the
Okay.
initial call without any kind of adjustments first, and then you'll hear the rest of it as it goes through. And yeah, give it a minute.
Okay.
Here we go. Now watch the bottom. Okay, so did you see what? So that's different than what some people hear. And it
Yeah,
was saying it was
yeah.
Patty, sweetie. How could you lie to me? What did you do? And then it says it's a boy, and it does sound like a different voice to an extent. Burke saying,
Mhm.
"What did I do?" So it's
Yeah.
interesting. Now that was that thing, and then there was the other thing that I had showed. I was going to show you guys. I thought was interesting too. Oh, where'd it go? Hold on, 1 minute. Give me a second here. I'm sorry. Where did it go? Where's he at? I had that sitting here.
Yes, Sleuth Squad. That is something that a lot of people are wondering. Were they trying to cover it up? Because I mean, and this is all alleged. This is all speculation. We're not trying to accuse anyone of anything. So I want to put that out there first and
Right.
foremost. But there are questions. There are a lot of questions.
Yes, there's a lot of questions, and some info we have now is conflicts with what certain people said for years and years and years. And the
Yeah.
question is
Right.
why? And the question is why?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
absolutely. This next is a sound professional. He's an expert in sound quality, and he does like music and all that kind of stuff. He knows
Uh-huh.
what to hear when he's hearing it, so on and so forth. And he's playing this through, and he's asking you, "Tell me what you hear. Tell me what I hear." And he believes he hears Patsy almost said ambulance and stuff like that. So I just thought this would be interesting to add and give you guys the option to say what you think you're hearing as he breaks this down real quick. And it's not real long. It's like 5
Yeah.
minutes.
So please make sure you comment what it is you think you hear.
Yeah, please do. Please do. This is where you guys get to interact too. I love this. Hold on here. All right. And here we go.
Hey everyone, this is Steve at Watson House Studios.
Hold on. I got to turn the speed back to normal. Sorry about that. All right. Sorry, guys. My apologies.
That's okay. No worries.
Hey everyone, this is Steve at Watson House Studios. Tonight I'm going to do something a little bit different, and this is really rough. But, you know, I've been kind of like interested, not really studying it a lot, but interested in the JonBenet Ramsey case. And, you know, I've been listening to, been reading about it, watching videos on it, doing like everybody else does, right? I read a few books on it, years past. But the last couple of days, I went back and listened to the 911 call that Patsy made. And it's interesting because, and I'm going to show some, you know, some transcripts from it. You go on CNN and a few other websites. The transcripts always start with the word police. Patsy saying police. And I think she said something before that. Okay. And what I think she said was,
Yep.
I'm going to telegraph this right now. Want to know if you hear the same thing, is she says, hurry, we need an, and then she gasped because she realized she was going to say ambulance. So what her natural thing was going to say was, hurry, we need an ambulance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the reason why I brought this to you guys, when I found this, again, this is a sound engineer. This is what he does for a living. He takes
Right.
sound, music, puts it together, breaks it down. So they have amazing ears, okay? And I know this because I've worked with these people. So here's the thing.
Yep.
If this is true, this blows the top off this. Hurry.
Yeah.
I need an ambulance. Why would you need an ambulance if you have no idea where your daughter's at? First and foremost. And two, then she's dead. Was
Yeah.
there something that that happened that they lost control of and then it was too late?
Yeah.
That's the question.
That's what I
guys.
think.
That's why I thought
And
this would be interesting to you guys.
and it's super interesting to me too, because anyone who has kids who knows, like, okay, I can't find, obviously, they had a big house, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't find our daughter, we can't find our son. You're gonna check every room, every closet, the basement, the attic, the
Yes.
backyard. You're gonna check everywhere. You're not gonna leave a door unopened. So
Everywhere.
the fact of where she's actually found in the basement later on,
Right.
to me, is a bit ridiculous. It
Agreed.
really it is. It's
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
Well, and that's why this is very interesting to me, because if
Yes,
she was
it
gonna
really
say,
is.
if Patsy was gonna say, "Hurry, we need an ambulance," that spins this completely around, you guys. Think
Yeah.
about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It changes things completely.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing in here during this series is we're breaking this down and trying to come up with what we think might have happened, because this is still, in all aspects, an unsolved case. So
Mhm.
Right.
I figured if we could find stuff, if I found something like this, it'd be interesting to be able to have you guys interact in it, as well as for the fact of that this is a complete huge, like a 360 spin on everything we've been told and what we know about this case for 30 years, guys. Just saying.
Right. Right.
All right, I'll shut up now and let it play.
But she realized she can't say ambulance. So she said, hurry, we need police. And the way she says police is even like a shock in a way. So, and you're going to, like I said, I'm going to show some transcripts on here, and you can see that I have my Pro Tools system in my recording studio. And I'm going to switch over to that now, and I want to know what you guys think. Okay? Thank you. This is the original 911 call. I did clean it up a little bit of effects to try to clean up the noise. Okay, so here's the original call.
911 emergency. Police. What's going on? 515th Street. What's going on there, ma'am?
We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please.
Explain to me what's going on, okay?
There's a note left and our daughter's gone.
A note was left and your daughter is gone? How old is your daughter?
6 years old. She's gone. 6 years old.
How long ago was it?
I don't know. I just found the note. And my daughter's
Does
gone.
it say who took her?
What?
Does it say who took her?
I don't know. There's a ransom note here.
It's a ransom note?
It says FBTC. Victory. Please.
Okay, what's your name? Are you
Kathy Ramsey, I'm the mother. Oh my God. Please.
I'm sending an officer over, okay?
Please.
Do you know how long she's been gone?
No, I don't. Please, we just got out. Is you on here? Oh my God, please.
Okay,
Can I see somebody?
I am, honey.
Please.
Take a deep breath,
Please,
okay?
hurry.
Kathy.
Okay, so now what I want to focus in on is the part where the first thing that Patsy says, and what you'll see is that she actually says some words, and I'm going to play it first, and I want to hear what, and it starts here. This is the first line that Patsy says, okay? And I'm going to play it in its normal speed, okay? And this is the first time you hear Patsy say something in normal speed.
And who do we need? Police. What's going on? 515th Street.
So I'm going to do that one more time, okay?
Yeah.
Here's the first line that Patsy says.
And who do we need? Police.
So
Yeah, he's
what I
right.
hear is, hurry, we need and then she
Yeah.
moves in like she was going to make a mistake. And then she says, police. And it's a surprise. Her police. It doesn't make sense the way she says the word police.
Right.
She was going to, I believe she was going to say, hurry,
Ambulance.
we need an ambulance.
Yeah.
Yes, she was.
100%. I'm
He's
telling you,
right.
I listened to this like 35 times because
He's right. I agree with him.
and you hear the exasperation in her voice where she goes, "Hurry, we need a," like she catches herself almost and then says, "Police," like she spits it out like she didn't know what to say at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really kind of interesting as he plays this. I'm telling you guys, I loved this, and I'm like, this would be perfect to give them, all of you guys, another like look into just something besides the actual. And I went from a specialist that does nothing but this. So,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
depends.
This is great.
Stitches. Yeah, it depends, Stitches, on how deeply or how much they hyperventilate and how much oxygen
Right.
they lose. So,
Yeah.
all right, here we go.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it again, but this time it's slowed down a little. And I want you to hear what it sounds like. Okay. So I'll do this a couple times. So here we go. Just now isolated on her voice. Okay, you can see I'm going to do it again. Okay, here we go. Hear what she says. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, play. So to me, it sounds like she's saying, hurry.
It sounds like she actually says the beginning of the word ambulance. Hurry, hurry, we need a or we need a amber, please, like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
AMB
She
is what
stopped
she says.
herself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need an police. Okay. And the breathing part, just
It's even it's awkward to even talk like that.
She also the way she breathes in, she catches herself. She was going to say ambulance, I believe. So here's the breath in. I mean, that's isolated. I know it's fast, but it doesn't sound normal or natural to me.
No.
She realized she was
No.
So here again, I'm going to go back.
It's not.
This is the whole line again. This is her, and listen to this. I mean, I can slow it down more, but I want to hear what people have to say about this. Okay, to me, this is a huge discovery. Okay, so I've demoed it in Pro Tools. You've heard I've slowed it down to hopefully help you hear it a little bit better. I really want to know what people think. To me, this is a huge difference. If she said, hurry, we need an ambulance, and she cut herself off, but if she was going to say those words, that meant she knew that John Bonet was already hurt or possibly dead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's the reason why I'm showing that. So what do you make sure you guys throw in there what you think she's saying or is gonna say. And if you don't think it's anything, throw it in there.
So I get that. I see, I think she's in panic mode and nothing more.
Yeah.
The thing is, what I want you to understand, for those of you who don't know, remember Patsy is very articulate.
Yeah.
Very much
so. She did many interviews. She was in the limelight, right? She was a beauty. She knows how to speak. So yes, it's true. If you're in a high emotional state, you can stumble on your words or whatever. But that is a very kind of awkward. You're not gonna say something like, "I need an police." Like it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all.
Yeah, I agree. It sounds very
very
strange.
suspicious. Yeah.
And definitely. So if that, like I said, and I'm not saying it is, but this far into the case, this long, I just thought it would be interesting to give you guys something that was put together by an expert that listened to this. This was run through many, many, many audio laboratories and professionals and this and that, and nobody can say for sure what exactly is going on with this. That's the problem. Okay.
Right.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
FBI. The FBI even went through this, guys, many times. Just so
No.
you know, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
This was a sound engineer that did this, and he picked up on something that some professionals didn't even pick up on. So I'll just say
Yeah.
that.
That was.
But
Yeah, it was very good.
but anyway, I just thought it was interesting. So there you go, guys.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
And
you
that's true. Not everybody will hear the same thing.
no,
I when I'm horrible at hearing the audio stuff typically. This I felt was a lot clearer than some of this some of the stuff. I don't know if that's my age or what it is, but sometimes I have trouble hearing the audio stuff. Um, I don't
they
catch
they
what
they
other people do.
right. They have stated that, and there were areas of controversy on the 911 call. Good to see you tonight, Karmic. Wouldn't an ambulance be what you would need, you would want, though, in that situation? If you knew,
Yeah.
if you knew, first off, the problem with that is, Karmic, is that the little girl's missing. She's not hurt.
Right.
They
Right.
don't know that
You
yet
wouldn't
at this
want.
point.
Yeah. You wouldn't ask for an ambulance.
Yeah, they
You
don't
wouldn't
know.
need.
Right.
No,
You
no,
wouldn't need
no.
an ambulance if you don't know. You're like, oh, someone. My
Exactly.
my my kid is gone. You're not gonna ask for an
Right.
Yeah,
ambulance.
don't
You're
don't
gonna say, oh,
apologize,
I need.
Karmic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
don't
No.
No,
It's
don't
apologize
fine.
at all.
apologize.
That's what this is all
We.
about, why we're doing it like
Yeah.
this,
Right.
so,
We
Yeah.
just
um
try to
And
explain some of the stuff.
Tank on the Ring says she was not supposed to have seen the dog. Right, exactly. Supposedly they
exactly.
hadn't found her that yet.
So,
Right.
what comes into question then is when Patsy's making the call, is it that she's just panicked and she's hyperventilating and that's why the deep breath and why the mistake possibly? Or was she gonna say, "We need an ambulance," because they know where John Bonet is, first off. Second off, they know that
Yeah.
she's been hurt somehow, and they were gonna call an ambulance at first, and maybe John said, "No,"
So there's
and
two
shut it
big. So
down
there's two big things. Yeah. So
or
the two
something like
main
that.
things. The two big things. The two main things to bring out with this 911 thing is what this expert just showed that the and police and ambulance and ambulance, that's a huge like discrepancy. So
Yeah.
if they're asking for an ambulance, that means someone's hurt. They need help because someone is hurt. That's one thing. And it's a huge thing. The second thing is what we were playing with before, the end of the tape, with why this is such a big deal. Okay.
Yeah.
So here, I'll just to explain it in a nutshell, very quick, very easily, so you guys hear it. Is Burke's voice on an enhanced tape? Okay. There's a major
Hmm.
dispute about whether Burke or John's voices can be heard at the end of the tape. So they call it RDI theorist. So that's like audio, audio specialists argue that if such voices can be heard, this is proof that the Ramseys were lying about events that morning, since they assert Burke was asleep in his bed when the 911 call was made. Now, the parents, the Ramseys here for years and years and years and years have said Burke was asleep in his bed. He was in his bed the whole time. Well, we know that's not true now. And how do we know? This isn't an opinion. This is absolute 100% truth. It's from Burke's own mouth. So 20 years after, in 2016, he did an interview with Dr. Phil. And Dr. Phil asked him, what were you, where were you? Did you stay in your bedroom the whole time? And Burke says, no, he did not stay in his bedroom the whole time. He went downstairs. So this whole time that the Ramseys are like, no, Burke was alone. Burke was in his room. Burke was in his bedroom the whole time. Well, Burke just said himself, it's not hearsay. He's the actual person. So
Right.
there's no dispute. He's the actual person. He's saying, no, I went down. I was downstairs.
Yeah, so then
Yeah.
the question comes to pass, why? why was that lie told, and what happened? What was the deal?
Right. Yeah. And now somebody says they think that Burke has Asperger's. I don't know if there's ever been a definitive diagnosis or
Yeah.
anything. I don't know if anybody knows, but I if he was downstairs, as that doesn't prove that he did anything. If
No,
even
No.
if
it
he was
doesn't.
downstairs, but why would they lie about where he was?
There was a book put out in '99 by somebody called by the name of Lawrence Schiller. Okay, and it was based
Mhm.
on the experts' breakdown of what was stated on that call at the end. Okay, and
Right.
it was a slightly different version, but it kind of was the same. And what it says is, "Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jesus!" That was clearly Patsy's voice. Then, in the distance, there's another voice which sounds like Burke's, John Bonet's brother. And what they're
Mhm.
claiming, the experts through the FBI and other places are claiming that he said was, "Please, what do I do?" Burke said. Then you hear, "We're not speaking to you," where John Ramsey said. Patsy screamed again, "Help me, Jesus! Jesus, help me, Jesus!" And then, more clearly, Burke said, "What did you find?" That's what the FBI and everybody else has pulled out of that end result of the call. I don't know what to
Right.
tell you. And that's why they have posted it. They put it in a book, more than one book, I should say. But that was what the experts are saying out of all of that. So it would make sense
Right.
if Bert come downstairs, mom's screaming, yelling, so on and so forth, and he's like, what do I do? How can I help? You know what I mean? And then he says at the end, "What did you find?" So I don't
Yeah.
know, you guys.
So
I don't know.
what
And then
it's
yeah, so yeah.
hard to know what
It
exactly
is.
was going on there.
Right.
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 So there's a lot of different they have a lot of experts that try to evaluate it.
Yes.
And we're not going to go through all of them, but basically the what the kind of critique and answer to so yes, the FBI analyzed it, the Secret Service, some very specific labs. What some people are asserting, and this you know it is possibly true too. It says that um everyone thinks that the FBI, Secret Service, like they have they have all the best equipment and everything. But what they're what what they're basically asserting here is the fact that the FBI and Secret Service do not have the luxury of state of the art equipment. And this is true. I know this, and that it's very when it comes to very specialized like things to this magnitude of checking like very specific audio and like very specialized things. A lot of times, the government agencies will often subcontract work to private companies. Ha, hence IGG. um, this happens a lot. So the subcontracting. So you know, you have to. There's people that say that it is birth. There's people that say that it isn't. Um,
Sure.
but
But don't forget, he
more,
himself said it was him.
Right. He
but
said
he
it was him.
himself. But the big thing that I have, the big issue that I have is that you know we try to speculate like, oh well, the parents, well they said Burke he was in the room the whole time, so I guess it couldn't maybe it's someone else. It couldn't be him. But now from Burke's own mouth, I mean that was the bombshell thing that he said in his interview with Dr. Phil.
Right.
So
And
now
if
again,
you
Right.
if you
I'm not saying that he did it, but
right, absolutely. Absolutely. If you go back to the beginning when he was first interviewed by police at that point, in his interview, he said with police that he had been awakened by loud voices during the 911 call, but he had stayed in bed. And then we go to the Schiller book that I told you, okay? And it was later in 98, Jim Jenkins said that possibly, this is just a synopsis of a possibility, that Burke had gotten out of bed and had gone to the top of the stairs, where Cassie, Jesus, Patsy was at the bottom of the stairs with the 911 on the 911 call, okay? So on and so forth, and made the statements that are heard over the phone. Okay, so it could be one or both of the same. You know what I'm saying, you guys? It could be one
Yeah.
thing happened, or one thing happened, or they both were happening he was out of bed, they thought he was in bed, or they lied about it. One of the two things is the way it's gonna go. So
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And Karmic says, did they ever run around down the neighborhood asking, looking immediately? Not that we're aware of. I don't believe they ever left the house.
nope.
The parents,
No,
you know,
no,
they didn't go
no,
looking around the neighborhood. Heck, I don't believe
no.
they even searched. Now, if they weren't involved or anything, we
Well,
don't believe they even looked throughout the house. John did eventually,
yes.
but
Yeah,
not
eventually.
right away.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, and I think that that's part of the problem there too, because being a parent, you would check every nook and cranny. I mean, uh, this is just what happens. I mean, it doesn't like yeah, you're in a heightened, you're in a panic mode. You're gonna check. You're gonna check you're gonna check the washer, the dryer. You're gonna check every.
Right.
This is what when you're on a. I don't know if people are aware. There's like a little side note, um, and it's a whole nother thing because I know there are people who have gone missing from like cruise ships and stuff. When you go missing on a cruise ship, you know what happens on a cruise ship? Like they have a code, like a code word. It's
right.
different on every ship, and every worker who's there, whether you're the busboy or you're,
Doesn't matter what
a
you are.
dancer or whatever,
Yep.
you have a special, like a very, very like a certain area that you have to check. They will check every room, every toilet, every bathroom, every nook and cranny, everywhere. So
Yeah.
you can't tell me that you have a 6-year-old child that goes missing. You got a 6-year-old child that goes missing, and you're not gonna look, check every like little
Everywhere.
spot
Right.
everywhere.
It doesn't
So
make closets
it's just that right.
under the bed. I mean, down
So
in
that's the
back of the
problem,
furnace,
right?
whatever it is, because kids play hide and seek,
Right,
or whatever. And yeah,
right. So that's the problem that I have with, she winds up being found, in the basement behind a door, and I find it very hard to believe that that they didn't know she was there. I just it's very hard to swallow that for me.
yeah, it's
Um, but
so
Dago, you're there. I know. Did we want to go just kind of? We can kind of go through it. We have this is like really excellent timeline. So we found a really good timeline for you guys. I
Yeah.
know we went through it last week, but some of you who weren't there, we
yeah, but
figured
this is
maybe
like
we just go through.
super deep.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
why I pulled this
yeah,
because it
yeah.
was, like, detailed by within minutes of what happened.
Right.
And we can
So,
go through from that point forward.
Dago, how about yeah? So Dago, how about I'll start from. I think it's only like 8 or 9 things. I'll start from the 25th, and then you want to go
Go ahead.
right from the 26th. All right. So we went through this
Word.
last week, but this isn't even more. We found something that's even more detailed. So, so December in the 20s. There's all different things about them. The Ramseys had Christmas parties. Okay, they had they had hosted like a lot of different parties. Christmas was like a big deal to them. All right. So the last thing. So I'll finish. I guess I'll start right here. Okay. So 12/24 9 p.m. John Ramsey he retrieves a brand new silver bike stored in neighbor's Joe Barnhill's garage, places it under the Christmas tree for John Bonet. 9:30, Ramsey's get stashed gifts from basement area. Now we're at 6 a.m. on 12/25. So we're on Christmas
Day.
here. Yeah, Christmas Day. Ramsey's wake up, open presents, make breakfast. 12 p.m. John Ramsey checks on plane. 3 p.m. John returns home from checking plane. 6 p.m. White Christmas party. Ramsey's left for a Christmas party at Fleet and Priscilla White's. Nothing out of the ordinary occurred at the party, and the Ramsey family appeared happy. 8:45 p.m. Ramsey's left party. On the drive home from the party, John Bonet and her brother Burke fell asleep in the car. Ramsey's dropped off gifts at Stuart and Roxy Walker's and Glenn and Susan Stein's house on the way home. 9:30 p.m. Ramsey's arrive home. 9:45. John puts John Bonet to bed. Also at 9:45, John plays a game with Burke. 10 p.m., Burke goes to bed. 10 p.m., John Bonet is last seen alive and last seen in her bed. 10:30, Patsy goes to bed. John goes to bed. Defendants claim they were not awakened during the night. And then they go a lead in with the 12:26.
Yeah, so I'll pick up 12 a.m. actually. I'll start at 12 a.m. At 12 a.m. as of the 26th, which is again that would be the 26th of, and this is in 1996 for those of you that aren't familiar. A neighbor of the Ramseys sees lights at the Ramseys' house. Scott Gibbons looked out his kitchen window at the Ramsey residence and observed the upper kitchen lights were on and dimmed low. The Ramsey house had an upper kitchen as well as a lower kitchen. It was a large house.
Yeah.
Anyway, 1 a.m. Stuart Long and Melinda Ramsey returned to the home of Lucinda Johnson in Marietta, Georgia. 12:30 a.m. The movie that John Andrew, which is the older son, and Stacy and Brad Millard were watching ended. 1 a.m. Brad Millard, Chris Stanley, and John Andrew Ramsey returned to the Millard home in Georgia so that John Andrew Ramsey could pick up his mother's vehicle. 1 a.m. Neighbor Adam Vermeer and Luke Vermeer went to bed after watching movies late into the evening, and they did not notice nor hear anything unusual. 2 a.m. The neighbor Melody Stanton hears a scream. Okay. That's recorded at that time, and then nothing happens or is recorded to have happened until 5:30 a.m. 5:30, John Ramsey awakens. Patsy awakens a few minutes later. While John is taking a shower, Patsy put back on the same outfit that she had on the night before and reapplied her makeup. John reportedly awakens before Patsy at about 5:30 and then dressed after showering. 5:45. The ransom note. Patsy goes down the back staircase, the spiral staircase, and she discovers the ransom note at the bottom of the stairs. Ms. Ramsey goes down the back stairs towards the second floor, then what would be the spiral stairs towards the ground floor, where a step near the bottom of the stairs, she discovered the handwritten note on 3 sheets of paper that indicated John Bonet had been kidnapped. Mrs. Ramsey immediately screamed and proceeded to check John Bonet's room, which was empty. 5:52 a.m., John went downstairs to read the ransom note while Patsy called the police, informing them that her child had been kidnapped, which we've already listened to. 5:52. The parent that this is where this is all happening in the same minute, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Within the
It's
same
like
minute.
all together.
Yep.
Right. Again, 5:52. Both parents check on Burke. After hearing Mrs. Ramsey scream, Mr. Ramsey ran downstairs, met Mrs. Ramsey in the stairwell. Together, they checked on their son, who appeared to be asleep in his room. Again, 5:52 is when Patsy makes the 911 call. 5:53, the Ramseys phone family friends Fleet and Priscilla White. This is where they were the night before at the party. John and Barbara Fernie immediately after the note was found. So they called 2 sets of friends right after calling 911. Okay?
Right.
Officer French at 5:55 a.m. Officer French is dispatched and proceeds to 755 15th Street regarding a ransom demand and kidnapping. 5:59 a.m. Officer French arrives at the Ramsey house and reads the ransom note. 6 a.m. Sergeant Paul Reichenbach, hears Officer French's dispatch. 6 a.m. again. Officer French searched the basement, but fails to search the wine cellar room.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, right. 6:03 a.m. Fleet and Priscilla White arrive at the Ramsey home. At 6:05, Sergeant Robert Whitson received a page to call watch supervisor Paul Reichenbach. And then at 6:06, within 15 minutes of arriving, Fleet White went downstairs to the basement to look for John Bonet. He looked in the train room where he said a window was broken with no notation of whether it was open or closed. Under the broken window, there was a suitcase along with a broken shard of glass. Mr. White also opened the door to the wine cellar room, but he could not see anything inside because it was dark and he could not find the light switch. So I'm going to stop there just for a moment, okay?
Yeah.
This is kind of important, guys.
Yeah.
So Fleet, they're friends. Okay, mind you, Patsy calls 911, then she calls 2 sets of their friends. The White, who they're very close to, whose house they were at the night before for the Christmas party, okay? There's that. Now, these people arrive very quickly on the scene of a police call for a kidnapping of their child. They show up. That's fine, whatever. Some people bring their friends in on their life, I guess, whatever. They're there for 15 minutes. Police were already downstairs in the basement, searching the basement, and for some reason didn't look in the wine cellar. Whatever, okay? I question that right here and now. As a
Yeah.
law enforcement officer, I'm just gonna, or not being a law enforcement officer myself, but knowing law enforcement and working with law enforcement, I question that. I'll say that right now. But anyway, 15 minutes after these people show up, they go downstairs. They search he goes downstairs, searches the basement, and he finds the broken window, the broken glass, and he looks in the wine cellar room that the police didn't make no mention of whatsoever. Okay. I'm stopping here because that's it. This is all an issue for me personally. 1-1, Robin.
Oh yeah.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous because
I can't imagine you guys
even
doing that 1-1.
no, and even if this was true that this Fleet White went downstairs and he said he looked in and he noticed the window was broken, someone would go back down there. They would go back to, someone would be like, what do you mean the window is broken? They would go back to it. Something right there that
especially a law enforcement
606
officer. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that 606 thing is this makes no sense. No sense at all.
First and foremost, how did the first officer that went down there not find that? I'll say that. Second off, like he just said, why did they not run right back downstairs and go, what the hell are you talking about? I never saw that. Okay.
And don't they carry flashlights?
Law enforcement does.
Isn't that part of their gear?
Yeah.
Law enforcement
absolutely
definitely does.
So if you can't find a light switch,
well,
why would you not use your flashlight to look around the room?
Yeah, maybe not in Boulder, but
Who knows? Who knows? But this part of this right here is disturbing, you guys. It is, okay? It's definitely something you question. And I know 1-1 did be in law enforcement alone himself.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's a problem, okay? So I just want to make notice of those things before we go forward.
It's
so
a
now,
mess. Yeah, it's a mess.
It is. And we move on to 6:10 a.m. Okay. BPD Boulder Police Officer Carl Vike responds to the scene. The police did not seal off the defendant's home, exception of the interior of John Bonet's bedroom. With the exception of, sorry about that. Any person in the Ramsey house could and often did move freely throughout the home. So the house was not sealed off at all as a crime scene.
And that's a normal, that would be a normal thing because as
Right,
at
they
this,
live there.
this point, the people live there. It's not. There's no. There's no body yet, supposedly. So he wouldn't. It wouldn't be the whole home. The whole house wouldn't be a crime scene yet.
Right, because there's no
So
crime committed yet that we
right,
know other than the
right,
kidnapping.
Right.
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 So 6:20 a.m. Fleet White, Priscilla White, John Fernie, and Barbara Fernie are at the Ramsey house. There's a lot of people here for this, okay? I'm just saying. 6:30, Detective Fred Patterson was contacted by Sergeant Whitson to respond to Boulder. 6:35, Linda Arndt receives a call from Sergeant Whitson of a reported kidnapping. 6:35 again, Sergeant David Castera told Officer Barry Weiss to respond to the scene. 6:45, John Ramsey leaves a message for his pilot, Michael Archuleta, who returns the call a few minutes later, and Patsy answers the phone. 6:45 again. Boulder police officers Barry Weiss, Sue Barklow, and Sergeant Paul Reichenbaugh arrive at the Ramsey house. Again, 6:45. Boulder police victim advocates arrive at the Ramsey house. Early that morning, police had called in a team of victims advocates trained in helping families through traumatic situations who arrived with bagels and coffee. I guess that happens when you live in a ritzy titsy area because we don't have that shit around here. I'll tell you that much. Very nice. So where are we at next? 6:45 again. Priscilla White called her niece at the White House, not the president's house. It's the White's home. Sorry. At 6:50, Officer Weiss and Officer Barklow they photographed and fingerprinted the areas of the house. Officer Weitz collected the ransom note all at the same time. 7 a.m. Detective Patterson began gathering items that he would need at the scene. Now, remember how far back this was that Fleet White went downstairs and found the broken window and all that other stuff, folks. We're way past that, and nobody has gone back down there at this point yet.
Right.
No.
Keep that in mind, okay? That's a problem for me and always has been. But anyway. Again, 7 a.m. also, Burke is awakened and dressed. 7:13 a.m. Reverend Hoverstock from St. John's Episcopalian Church arrives at Ramsey House just before Burke left for the Whites. 7:30, John Ramsey searched the basement area alone. This is John now, goes down there by himself after Fleet was already down there once. Okay. He searched the basement area alone and he found the broken window partially open, and under the broken window, he also saw the same suitcase seen earlier by Mr. White. 7:30 again, John Ramsey planned to get the $118,000 demanded in the ransom note. 7:33, Boulder PD Canine Unit is on standby. 7:55 a.m. Reichenbaugh meets with Boulder Police Detectives Linda Arndt, Fred Patterson at the Basemar Shopping Center to brief them on the case. 8 a.m. Neighbor Scott Gibbons got up and observed a basement door leading into a kitchen area that was standing wide open. 8 a.m. again, Fleet White returns to the White residence with the Fernie children and Burke Ramsey. 8:10 a.m. I'm sorry. Linda Arndt and Fred Patterson arrive at the Ramsey house. 8:21 a.m. The 3-page ransom note was received into Boulder Police Department property. 8:30 a.m. Boulder Police followed standard procedure by putting taps inside the house and at John Ramsey's office. In turn, if it's a kidnapping with a ransom, they're going to tap the phones in case somebody were to call in. That way
Right.
they could record it and all that stuff, guys, so you understand. 8:30 a.m. as well, Arndt instructs John Ramsey, and Linda Arndt told John Ramsey what to say if the ransom call named demand if the ransomers called in demanding to talk to John DeBay, or to demand to talk to John Bonet. John Ramsey took notes and must talk to John Bonet. He scribbled is what those were his notes. At 8:30 again, after using the kitchen, the advocates began tidying it up. One friend helped clean up the kitchen, wiping down the counters with a spray cleaner and possibly wiping away important evidence. Insane, folks. Insane. 9:21, Detective Byfield. Now, look at how much time has passed. Remember
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
Fleet first went to the basement and to where we're at now. 9:21 a.m. Detective Byfield contacted Detective Patterson to tell him that Lori Vincel, Lafayette State Bank, was collecting the money for the ransom. 9:22, Detective Byfield contacts Detective Kithart to respond to the BPD assist in the investigation. 9:27, Detective Byfield contacts Gary Merriman, a list of the employees to access graphics. 9:30 a.m. Ransom account is arranged. John Fernie returned to the Ramsey residence after meeting with his banker and arranging to have $118,000 in cash available. Please remember and keep solid in your mind that number, $118,000. That number is very important, folks. Okay.
Yes, it is.
9:30 a.m. Sergeant Whitson arrives from Boulder PD. Sergeant Bob Whitson arrived at house, entering through a rear exterior kitchen door. 9:45, Detective Jeff Kithgert arrived at the BPD. 9:50 a.m., Detective Everett and Detective Byfield met with Gary Merriman at Access Graphics. Again, all of this going on outside of the house, away from the house, around the house, but not in the basement. Remember that.
Right.
At 10 a.m., no one mentioned to Detective Arndt that the suspected kidnappers had not called within the designated time period. 10:07, Detective Everett and Detective Byfield respond to the Ramsey residence. 10:30 a.m. John Bonet's bedroom has been sealed. John Bonet's bedroom had been sealed off by Detective Arndt and Fred Patterson. Also at 10:30, all additional police officers and victim advocates other than Linda Arndt and family members and friends leave the Ramsey residence. 10:45, representatives from the FBI arrive at BPD. Again, look at the time that's passed. Go for it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's still 12:26. Remember 1996. So 12:30 p.m. Detective
No, you're
Arndt.
on. I just ran all that. You have to jump to the next page, which would be after
Yeah.
10:45 a.m.
Did I?
the next day. Yeah, that's the one I just jumped on. Hold on. Let me jump up here. You'd be sitting at 12:26:96 at 12:30 p.m.
Yeah,
That's where
yeah,
you're going to start.
yeah. That's what
Okay.
I was.
Sorry.
Okay.
I thought you said
No,
the
that's
next day
okay.
earlier.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
apologies.
That's okay. No. Well, I said the wrong thing. I didn't mean the next day. The 12:30 p.m. Detective Arndt notices John Ramsey to be by himself. Again at 12:30, Detective Arndt phoned Larry Mason at BPD. 1 p.m. Arndt tells John Ramsey to search house. The mood in the house was quiet and tense. John Ramsey milled anxiously around the living room, and Patsy sat virtually motionless in a chair. Again at 1 p.m., Arndt suggested to Fleet White that he and John Ramsey check the house from top to bottom. Like, we're now at one, why wasn't this? This should have been done,
This is insane.
this should have been done,
Yeah.
5 hours before this.
Always blew
Ridiculous.
my mind. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
So here we go again. 1 p.m. John Ramsey and Fleet White search the basement. 1:04 p.m. John Benet Ramsey's body is finally found. John Ramsey entered the room first, turned on the light, and upon discovery of John Benet's dead body, he exclaimed, "Oh my God, my baby!" Still at 1:04. Duct tape removed. Now, I'll read it for John Benet had black duct tape covering her mouth, a cord around her neck that was attached to a wooden garrote, and her hands were bound over her head in front of her. She
Trigger
was covered
warning.
by, yeah, she was covered by a light colored blanket. And John Ramsey ripped the duct tape off her mouth and attempted to untie her hands. 105, Fleet White calls for an ambulance. Within a few minutes of going into the basement, Fleet White came running upstairs, grabbed the telephone in the back office located in the first floor, and yelled for someone to call an ambulance. 105, again, Byfeld notified, BPD officer Jim Byfeld is notified that John Benet's body had been found. Also at 105, John Ramsey carried John Benet upstairs, setting her down on the floor, though it's unclear why. Arndt then picked up the body again and moved it to the living room near the Christmas tree, where Ramsey knelt beside her, repeating "My little angel" over and over. Friends carried Patsy, too stunned to walk, over to the body. Again at 105, Arndt requested backup. Arndt quickly called for backup, declaring a code black, police lingo for murder. Go ahead. Yeah, what do you want to say?
Okay.
What?
Mittens for Kitten says, did he think she was alive? Now, if that had been me and I found my child, yes, it would have been my first instinct to get the tape off her mouth, thinking that maybe she was still breathing but was having difficulty. Could be having so to me, that is a natural reaction that if you were to find your child in that condition, you would try to do everything you could to make it easier for them to breathe, to get them up for medical attention. So you can't really, because at that point he had no idea whether she was breathing or not. Now I would have
No.
checked, of course, but
No.
either way, it would have been my first instinct to
right.
pick up my child and to
Oh,
so
yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
totally fault John for that. But
No,
why
I'm
didn't
not-
they
not-
find her
yeah.
way before this?
Well, she was under a blanket. So my thing
Right.
is, I know, it's a frantic thing. They're not thinking maybe completely straight. They're running around. She was hit. She was under the blanket, but no one turned on no one turned on the light. And the thing is, it's like, you notice a suitcase at the back near the window. You see
Right.
broken glass. That should have sparked. You should have been like, something's not right here. Like,
Well, that's not even the biggest issue with this one for me. The mistake was made when they picked the body up and took her upstairs. Period.
Right.
yeah,
That's a crime scene. That is a crime scene right there where they found her.
of
She
course.
should not have been moved. She shouldn't have been moved. The duct tape thing, I understand. Okay. And I get as a
Right.
parent
But
grabbing her and taking her upstairs.
she shouldn't have been moved.
No, they should have never moved her.
No,
Police should have.
because right, when he removed the tape, like, you could tell right away she wasn't alive. Like,
Right, and they should have had police there with them at that moment. That should have been secured, stopped, and they should have been backed out of there, completely backed out of that scene, and the scene should have been secured as a crime scene right
so
there.
just to go back, and this is a key thing. So they've already searched the basement like 2 different times already.
Twice, yeah.
Right? So now at 1
Yeah.
p.m., John Ramsey and Fleet White are searching. No, this should be an officer the cops should be searching. Absolutely.
Why would a cop tell the dad to go looking
Search
Well,
top to bottom,
child.
right?
What I could tell you is, again, this is Boulder, and this stuff. No, but it's funny, but they don't have this. They
No,
don't
it's
have
not
the
really
experience.
funny.
But they don't have the experience. It's lack of experience. It's really what it is.
But aren't those procedures gone over? I mean, I know each area trains differently, maybe, but
the
that's
procedures.
just
The procedures are gone over, but how many missing kids do you think that they had in that town?
I
That's what
don't
I'm
know.
trying to
I
say.
don't know
Probably
what the
not.
That's what I'm
statistics are.
saying.
Probably not many.
Robin, you're right. I'm sure that they did have a procedure about it, but at the moment,
Until you
they
act
don't-
on it, you don't remember it.
they don't have these towns. Some of these towns. This is like, again, no, like Idaho. Like, how many murders does Moscow, Idaho get? Like, they don't have the experience dealing with it. So some of the integral parts of maintaining the integrity of the crime scene, although like to me seem obvious, they don't have the experience of dealing with it. So it's like, yeah, it's great to live in some, one of these towns that has like no crime, but you better hope that the one crime or two crimes a year that happens doesn't happen to you, because the police don't know what the hell they're doing. They really don't.
Right.
And it even says in this one portion here, after they brought her upstairs, John Ramsey carries John Bonet upstairs, setting her down on the floor. This part is obviously, this is why this is here. Though it's unclear why, okay, this is my question. Detective Arndt then picked up the body again and moved it to the living room near the Christmas tree
Yeah,
where Ramsey knelt. Like, what? This
what
child
is
was
going
moved
on? I know.
3 times. 3 times she's been moved, and she should have never been moved from the crime scene downstairs in the basement in itself without being. But this is a mess, folks. Right here, it's a mess. This is all botched. I'm sorry. So go ahead with where you left off, but I'm
And
sorry.
and just to say, like, right at this, what I would guess I don't know how, the terminology to use. You could say like stop the clock, or this is the, they already botched part of the crime scene, right? The body's moved multiple times, but right at this moment, the second that this happened, that they found, the body is found, that whole place should have been shut down. Everyone gets put out. I'm sorry, even Patsy,
Yep.
everyone. I know it doesn't matter. The
Everyone.
mother, the father,
Nope.
everyone gets. This is now a suspicious death. A 6-year-old girl. Everyone gets put out. They don't get to leave. No one gets to really leave.
No,
but
but
gotta
they clear the house. They clear the
they
house.
clear the
Yeah.
house. This place has to be cleared, because even though there's a bunch of, contamination now, how much more you have to stop the massacre before you can.
Now,
You got to.
yeah. One thing I want to point out too that I find interesting, whether it was done on purpose or not, I've always felt that it was interesting that they woke up Burke, they got him dressed, and
Yep.
they had him leave the house, and then
Right.
they conveniently go downstairs and happen to find John Bonet and bring her up. Granted, it's probably just a coincidence, okay? But it
Yeah.
all falls in place in a weird way, in my opinion. Almost as if they knew she was there and didn't want him to see her being brought up out of the basement like that, okay? It's a thought. I'm not saying it's what it is. It just struck me weird is all I'm telling you. Because they very well could have just kept him out of the sight of line of anybody else. They didn't need to take him to somebody else's house at that point, but they did. And then they find her right after that. It's interesting
Right.
is all I'm saying.
Now, to Rochelle's point, Othram is supposedly going to be stepping in. Here we go with Othram.
Right.
And helping to solve this case. They announced it. I know Lee has talked about how they announced that at CrimeCon this year when he and JJ were there. And, there was all kinds of clapping and cheering when they said that they were going to get involved in the case. So now we haven't heard anything yet, but, so
yeah.
maybe, I don't know.
Nothing half-assed. You're absolutely right. If this was my child, there's no way you could have stopped me from picking her up, okay? I fully
Right.
understand that. But that's why they have police on scene to control stuff like that, and
Right.
nobody did.
Yeah.
That's my
They
issue.
shouldn't have been left alone. They shouldn't have been the ones searching.
Exactly. They
And
should
she
have
was
never
just had
said,
a
"Go
chance
search the house from top
No.
to bottom." No.
Right. So here's what.
They
So
should have
here's
been doing
what.
that.
So here's what would have.
Right.
So here's what would have happened. Okay. So if I was given the info that they had, right? So you arrive on the scene, and this guy White went down, and he said he saw broken glass and a suitcase against the wall. That would be that would have been so you definitely kind of you're gonna secure John Bonet's bedroom. They did that pretty quick. That was accurate. That's what you would do. But that basement area, that would have been the first, probably the first place I would have gone to, because they said, oh, there's broken glass, there's a suit, like that's where the oddity is that's going on. And it it wouldn't have taken that that long to figure to find. You turn the light on, um, but you wouldn't send the parent looking around, or a neighbor or friend.
Nope.
Right.
That should have been discovered pretty quick.
5 hours before
Right.
it was.
Should have been
Right.
discovered pretty quick by the officer.
When
But
when
again,
Fleet White went downstairs and saw the broken window and glass, they should have went directly down behind him and said,
yeah,
what is this? And then they would have found her
exactly.
5 hours before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And police should have found her, not the parents. Not by any means. The police should have searched the
Exactly.
entire house, top to bottom,
This,
and found her. Period.
to my way of thinking, this was bungled from the get-go.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
It was.
Where did you leave off at there? At what point did I say hold on? 1:05
got-
p.m.
Yeah, I think it was 105.
There you go.
Yeah. So 105.
Do you want to keep
After
going or want
the-
me to
af-
take over?
I'll finish.
Okay.
I'll just finish. I'll finish the 105, and then after the discovery of the body, Everett walked through the basement area of the house, including the wine cellar, to attempt to determine if any person were present in the basement. Well, gee, it's like a million hours later.
10
little
years
too late.
later.
Yeah, still at 105. Remember, this is all happening like in the same minute.
Like simultaneous, like, yeah.
Yeah. Officer Barry Weiss, Sergeant Dave Casera were dispatched back to the residence because the child's body had been located. Also at 105, Detective Arndt saw Fleet White run from the area of the basement door to the den.
And then from that point forward, 1:12 p.m., Detective Arndt grabs a cellular phone in the kitchen, dials 911, and reached dispatcher Santiago. 1:15, Detective Arndt received a page from communications. Remember, this was the 90s, folks. There was not that much communication all the stuff we have now.
Right.
Excuse me. 1:20, Officer Weiss and Everett, lead crime scene investigators, arrived between 1:05 and 1:30 p.m. At 1:22 p.m., Officer Morgan relays Officer French from the Boulder PD to the scene at 755 15th Street. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. 1:29, Detective Arndt receives a page stating that her call was received by Weld County. 1:30 p.m., John Ramsey phones Gary Merriman. Again, at 1:30, Walker and Mason search the basement. Mason decides to secure the house. Gee,
Oh, wow.
about time. About time. Great decision there, buddy. 1:30 again. Priscilla White calls niece. Priscilla calls her niece at the White home to report the murder. 1:40, John calls pilot Detective Bill Palmer, overheard John Ramsey making arrangements to fly to Atlanta over the phone at 13:40, which is 1:40. 1:45 p.m., John Ramsey signed search form. 1:45 again, the Ramseys leave for Fernie's. The Ramseys left their home to stay with the Fernies, including JR, PR, JAR, MR, and her boyfriend SL. Attorney friend Mike Bynum advised them to get lawyers. Interesting. 1:45, Officer French leaves the residence for the second time, and Officer Weiss and the Shunk secured the front and back of the house. 1:45 again, Sergeant Larry Mason arrives at the Ramsey residence. 1:45 again,
So,
FBI agent Ron Walker.
I have a question. Okay. So I did not realize it. John calls a pilot?
Yep.
Yeah, his pilot.
Yeah.
And did they
Yes.
fly to these Fernies?
That's what I'm guessing.
Well, it says Fernies.
Yeah,
Yeah, it says Fernies.
He made arrangements to fly to Atlanta at
Yeah.
1:40. So yeah, they were
Why would they
flying
ever let him leave like that?
because it's I don't know. They're going to
There's
fly
many
to
No,
stay
no,
with
I
questions.
know
these
you don't
people.
know, but
No, I agree. It's
that
crazy.
is weird.
It's very strange. Very strange, as is most of the rest of this case. Absolutely.
That is wild to me that they would allow them to fly somewhere. I mean, the parents would be the first suspect.
Well, hence the
I
reason
mean,
why their attorney tells them, or why they're told you need to get attorneys.
Right.
There you go.
Yep.
right.
'Cause
Wow.
people with money get special treatment. We know that. Okay,
That
Yes.
is true.
so there's that.
Okay. Okay.
1:45 again.
Fine. Yeah.
FBI agent Ron Walker arrives at the Ramsey house. 1:50, the house is finally secured completely at
Oh my
1:50 in
God.
the afternoon. Way too much later, guys. It's crazy. 2:15, Burke is interviewed by Detective Patterson at the White's house, and Burke reportedly had slept through the events of the previous night. And here's something else that blows my mind. At 1:40, they're making a decision to fly to Atlanta, and Burke
Right.
is at their friend's house by himself.
Yeah.
Okay, I just let that process for a minute. That's all I'm
Yep.
saying.
Yep.
Give me a
Right.
minute, folks. I need to take a real quick bathroom break. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. And another thing I found weird was, okay, it said at like 7 or so in the morning, Burke was shipped off to the White's place. That he went, according to this, it was like 7 in the morning. So
Yep.
why didn't whoever took him report to their household why Burke was there? Did at first they just say, John Bonet is missing, maybe? Because at that point she hadn't been found, because she wasn't
Right.
found until 5 hours later.
Right.
So, but I just can't believe how many people were in and out of this house.
Oh
I
yeah.
just
Even after the
did
body.
house ever watch TV?
I
I'm not trying to be facetious,
I
but
don't
you
know. I don't know what to tell you. You're right.
I know you
I
don't.
mean,
I
because
know. You weren't
even
there.
though this is like the mid '90s, yeah, there were still plenty of police shows and detective shows, right?
Right?
You're
Secure
right.
the crime scene. Don't move
Yes,
the body. Everybody get out of the area. I mean,
exactly. It's
because
very
they still tested, even back then, they tested for fingerprints and a certain amount of DNA. And,
right.
so to me, I, I just can't imagine as a cop. I would love to know her reasoning for saying, yeah, why don't you go search? And not even send another, or go with him yourself. Was she that scared of John that because she kept
No.
her hand on her weapon?
I,
It's weird.
well, it's funny you said that because I've seen the interview with that officer, that first officer on scene, and felt that the behavior of Patsy and John was odd.
Yes.
She
And
had
this
she
comment is great from Microdot. If my child was there's no way I'm flying anywhere.
yeah,
I just can't
yeah.
believe they let them leave. That's all I'm saying.
I
So
know.
anyway, sorry about that delay, guys.
That's okay.
We're back to 1:50 again. The house was secured. 2:15. Burke is interviewed by Detective Patterson at the Whites. Burke reportedly had slept through the events of the previous night. 2:30 p.m. Detective Arndt visits the Ramseys at the Fernie's house. 2:35 p.m. Oh, maybe they didn't have to fly to the Fernies. They just went to that household. So they go
Okay.
to another. That's the other friend. I'm sorry, but John had booked a flight to leave at
Yes,
some
he
time.
did.
He's
Yeah.
going to
Yeah,
fly out to Atlanta at
right.
some point. So anyway, so they go to the Fernies household because they can't be in their house. Instead of going to the Whites where their son is, they go to a completely different household. But anyway, people are strange, you know.
Yeah.
Detective Arndt visits the Ramseys at the Fernie's house. 2:35. The Ramsey residence was empty at at this point now.
And this is look at this. Yeah, the next one is ridiculous.
Yeah, very much so. 4:45. So 2 and some odd hours later, okay? John Ramsey hires attorney Michael Bynum, John Ramsey's close friend and corporate attorney, who had been away snowshoeing, and now arrived at the Fernie's house. As he walked in, the family was kneeling in the living room praying with Reverend Hoverstock. John went for a walk with John Fernie in the hills. After returning, Ramsey asked Bynum to represent him. Interesting. Why? Represent you why? Your child was kidnapped. You didn't do it.
Right.
Why are you asking somebody to represent you? But anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Rochelle says John has, we know, yeah, they have older
Yeah.
children. They were flying to Atlanta to celebrate Christmas with the other kids. The flight was planned already, had to tell the pilot what was happening. Okay.
Okay. Makes sense, but they still should not have allowed him to take that
To leave.
flight.
No.
You know what I mean? That's my point, Rochelle. That's all.
Yeah.
Like, because of the situation, it should have been, you're going to need to stick around until we figure out what the hell happened here. That's all.
Right.
Anyway. So, 6:50, Officer Adams relieved Officer Morgan, who was staying with the Ramseys, I'm sorry. At 7:11, Officer Morgan leaves the Ramseys. 7:11 again, Officer Scott Adams arrives and takes his place. 7:40 p.m., John Ramsey takes a walk with John Fernie and Dr. Both. 7:50, John Ramsey says, "I am sorry. I am so sorry," while sobbing. What are you sorry for, John? But okay. At 8:20, Dr. Meyer enters the Ramsey residence at approximately 8:20, according to his autopsy report. At 8:20, the police obtain a search warrant for the Ramsey premises and vehicles in Boulder. 8:20 again, Dr. Meyer views the body in the living room of the house. The decedent was laying on her back on the floor. See, this is what I'm not getting, okay? We're at 8:20 p.m.
Yeah.
And they moved her from the crime scene in the basement to the living room. Why didn't they just remove her from the house at that point? They left her there all day by herself.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't
Crazy.
realize that she was laying in the house all alone.
The only thing I
All
believe there was an
alone.
armed police officer outside of the home, but that's it. Nobody was inside that house. It was empty. They left this little girl in there by herself until they could get there to do what they have to do. With a guard, police officer outside. That's fucking insane. I'm sorry. Right. Kiss me where I pee. Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, your name kills me. So Dr. Meyer views the body in the living room of the house. The decedent was laying on her back on the floor, covered by a blanket and a Colorado Avalanche sweatshirt. On removing these two items from the top of the body, the decedent was found to be lying on her back with her arms extended up over her head. The head was turned to the right. Trigger warning again, folks. A brief examination of the body disclosed a ligature around the neck and a ligature around the right wrist. Also noted was a small area of abrasion or contusion below the right ear on the lateral aspect of the right cheek. So it'd have been like right here.
Yeah.
Okay. A prominent dried abrasion was present on the lower left neck. So over here. 8:30. After examining the body, Dr. Meyer left the residence at approximately 8:30. John Ramsey laid down with Patsy at 9 o'clock. 9:15, John Ramsey left to go to DIA to pick up his brother Jeff from Atlanta. So, okay, maybe that's what the flight was about then, was that he had called him instead of us going there, bring him here. Maybe, I don't know. Just saying. Dallas International Airport is what DIA is, guys. Sorry. 9:20. Officer Scott Adams briefed Commander Eller. 10:25. Patsy gets up and asked where her husband was and where her son was. She sobbed. Why did they do this? Why did they do this? She asked for Valium. 10:28. Patsy's sister and brother-in-law arrive at the house. 10:30. Patsy Ramsey emerged from the east bedroom at 1950 Teacup. 10:45. JBR John Bonet's body was removed from the house. And 11:44. Detective Linda Arndt, was last to leave the house. 11:44 that night. All right. So,
Wow.
where are we at? It's with
Yeah, this will be a good place to stop.
let me
Because
look
we're
here.
near the
Because this will
2-hour
pick
mark
us up
here.
at the next day. Basically, we'll pick up. But
Right.
that
Yeah.
kind of worked out perfect almost.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. I did not know that she had laid all that time in the house by
Yeah.
herself, guys.
It's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking.
It
Yeah.
is
Poor
heartbreaking.
little.
That poor little baby. Oh my God.
I
Oh
know.
my God.
It's insane to me. They should have at least had a police officer inside with her. I mean, I know. This is my emotions, guys. This makes me want to cry right now. Every time I heard that
Yeah.
story, I just no. That poor little angel
I
was already horribly murdered and left
right.
to herself in the basement, and then they left her in that house all damn day by herself. It's just
Right. I'd have been standing as
Yeah.
close to the house as they would allow me to.
I
Like,
just
there'd
got in
been
my
no
car
way
in
as
the
a parent.
driveway.
I wouldn't have been going nowhere.
No,
I'd have been right there. I would not have been able to leave my child like that.
well, they couldn't have her take her out of the house in an ambulance because I forgot the coroner needed to examine the body before they could
Right.
release her to leave the scene. So
Yeah.
there's that. They should have been there a
Yep.
lot sooner. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. Way sooner. Way sooner. Wow. That's just crazy. Well, folks, as you can see, there is so much more to this case. I'm, astounded by some of the stuff because it's been so long since I have gone through the case at all. So it's wow. That part is just like blow my mind.
Yeah. It it
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
it
It's a
really I
lot
was
of
like,
stuff.
mm-mm.
I mean, and
Yeah.
they were super well known in the community and everything. So,
Very well off.
you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
Which explains
Wow.
certain things, because everybody in here, if it was any one of us, nothing like this would have
Right.
happened.
No.
We would have
No.
probably been arrested
Been hauled down to the station.
and held and detained for suspicion of murder right away, folks. I'm just saying.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
anyway, there's a
Absolutely.
lot more to go.
Well,
So yeah,
yeah, so keep buckled up, everybody. So we'll be back next week, of course, with the third part of it. So, but I guess we'll go around for close. So if you want to, we'll go Dago 1-1, and I'll close us out for the night. Then
sounds great, guys. Thank you again for joining us here tonight for part 2 of this series. I'm very much enjoying covering this because I feel that this case has always bothered me, and there definitely needs to be justice for this poor little girl. Um, there's no real ever any real reason for anything like this, but this definitely needs real justice, in my opinion. So I'm grateful that we're able to do this. And it's
yep,
bringing back a lot of interesting stuff that I remember from covering this with a notebook and a pen when I was younger. So, 100%. Thank you guys for being here as always. Thank you to the moderators, you who are amazing and I'm very much appreciated. I missed. It's too bad we didn't have Logan with us tonight. I think she'd have definitely been into this 100% and been able
oh
to add
yeah,
something great to this for sure. So
absolutely.
thank you, 1-1 and Robin, for being here and allowing me the honor to do this with you as always. Um, Again, thank you, moderators, for every bit of this. I appreciate everything you guys do, and all of you for being here. Make sure you guys love yourselves, love each other, and don't change a thing because you truly are the beautiful people. And we will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank you, sir. And 1-1. What's your closing tonight?
Yeah, this this case is like the case of all cases. I mean, this the nonsense that the threads that you can pull, but um what's most alarming in this case, it unfortunately reiterates that there are two tiers of justice in this society of ours. If you have money and power,
Yeah.
it's not fair. It really isn't. Everyone should
No.
be able to get equal representation.
Right.
It shouldn't be, you know because I have more a certain amount of money and clout in the town, I could uh the kind of push my influence into certain things. It's not fair, and
No.
it's sad. Now, does that mean, am I saying that the Ramsey, that they killed their daughter and whatever? No, I'm not saying that, but um as we get into some of the further things, in the weeks to come, some of the other contradictions and just pure nonsense that went on. It just really makes you think and wonder, just that for the poor little girl, um, and why, you know, things that should be just such like common sense decisions to make, and just baffling. But from the things that we covered tonight, uh, the fact of like getting a lawyer right away, like the day hasn't even finished yet,
Right.
and you're
Right.
already getting a like, what are you afraid of? Like, just it doesn't. I can't I can't comprehend that. You should, um, someone did something to someone in your family, you should want to give every piece of information that you possibly can. It shouldn't. Why do you need to hide behind a lawyer? It's unless you have something to hide, right?
I mean, for
Yeah.
this,
That's the only
yeah,
thing I could think of. I'm sorry.
agreed.
It's the only thing. If you have something to hide, because then, anytime the police are gonna question you or interview wanna get then it's gonna be run by the lawyer. And but why? Yeah, you should wanna give all the info possible to find, so they can get the culprit, they can get the perpetrator. So something is awry. I could tell, it's it
Yeah.
doesn't appear right. I don't know exactly what the heck went on there. The 911 call. Um Thank you, Dago, for showing that. I never I've heard a lot of stuff, analysis of the 911 call. I never heard that kind of view.
Right. Yeah, I thought it
And
was very
I never heard
interesting.
that. I never heard that, and that was, to me, is a pretty eye-opening kind of thing, because just of, what I know about, like I said earlier, what I know about Patsy, she's very articulate, she
Mhm.
interviews very well, she was in beauty contests, she knows how to talk,
Right.
um, to use that word in that way, and police. It's something
It
isn't something is off. Something is off. So thank you for pointing that out. That it's
Yeah, I just thought it was an
not
interesting point of view to
yeah,
look at.
yeah, it was. So
Okay, you
thanks
were something's glitching out there.
Me?
to me or huh?
1-1 was.
Oh,
Oh, am I still glitching?
No, you're good now.
Okay. I'm just gonna say thank you to everyone for joining us and partaking in this Sunday show. We appreciate you. We love all of you. Thanks to all of the amazing mods, and we'll be back here tomorrow night. And I've gone on long enough before Robin yanks me off the stage. I will do my movie quote now.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right, so you so this is a mid-90s. So there's a
Okay.
hint.
okey doke.
I think you probably I would think you've seen this. All right. Good morning. Uh Good morning. In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world, and you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind.
Top Gun.
Mankind.
Independence Day.
Oh,
You got it.
Sorry.
It was a lot.
totally guessed.
Sorry.
That
That's
was good.
okay.
You said it was a long quote too.
Yeah, sorry.
No, good. Good.
Oh, it's one of my favorite
Yeah, it was
movies.
Independence
Mm,
Day.
Sorry.
It's a good movie. Good movie.
It is, yeah. The
Yeah.
first one was. I don't like
Well,
the
thank
second
you
one.
for that.
Yes.
I got
Back
one night. I did.
You did.
I haven't gotten any in a while, so
Oh my gosh.
I
Oh,
I
it's so
loved
fun
I
though.
loved the movie, and I liked that whole part where, Bill Pullman does that whole speech. So yeah,
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
absolutely.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, and as for myself, I do so thank everyone for coming out. The interaction tonight was fantastic. Really appreciate that. We love talking with you guys about these cases. We want you guys to keep the comments coming. And we have excellent mods in all the communities. Saw someone earlier asking if Logan was sick. No, I don't believe so. She just had some stuff going on that kind of I know ran long or something, and so. But as far as I know, she will be back with us tomorrow night. But for all of her crew that's over here, either on Dago's side or in our chat, thank you so much for joining us as well. We appreciate that as always, and we will be back tomorrow. 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 8 p.m. Eastern. DA will be back. For those who don't know, DA takes Sundays off to rest and recharge and whatever. I do want to just let everyone know that there will be a really big video tomorrow on Kopaka. So you're not going to want to miss this. It will
Right.
be at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard and or 4 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll send out, of course, the link and everything once it's scheduled. But you're not going to want to miss this. I will tell you, it does have to do with our boots on the ground work that S and I did this week. So I can tell you that much. But other than that, Lee will kill me if I say any more than that. So please, please, please tune in, spread the word, whatever. It's going to be epic.
And
Yes.
we're gonna
So
be breaking it down on Crimes After Dark tomorrow night too, so it's
that's
gonna be
right. That's
that
right. So
interesting. So
yeah, yeah. So we'll have Lee will have the long form video out tomorrow afternoon, and then we will be discussing that. Sorry, guys, the dogs are going crazy. But anyway, so everyone have a good night, whether you're here live or on the replay crew. We appreciate you so, so much. And I hope everyone has a fantastic Sunday evening and a great start to your week tomorrow. So, love to you guys and take care.
Have a great night, everybody.